Thanks for joining us, folks, as we continue on with our Five for Faith video series. Sure appreciate you taking the time just to dial in. You know, our elders and our staff, we have a lot of things kind of stirring in our hearts, and it's just great to share in this forum. Courage. Courage. Why do we admire that word so much? Let me give you a working definition. It is the ability somebody has to do something that would frighten others. To be brave, to be bold. Courage says that you act on your belief despite danger or disapproval is another definition. To be courageous literally means that we face our fears using our hearts instead of our heads. That's interesting, isn't it? Well, we certainly could use a lot of courage during these uncertain times that we're living in. We really need our leaders to take a bold approach and a fearless approach using uncommon valor, making decisions perhaps that others may seem crazy or ridiculous, and doing it because it's the right thing to do. In the book of Numbers, we just went through it as a church here a couple months ago, and God sent 12 men out to check out the land that he had promised his people. They came back with a report. 10 of them said, "We can't do this. These people there, they're scary, man. They're big. In fact, we look like grasshoppers in their eyes. They're huge." But 2 guys stood up and said, "No way, because God is with us. We can do this." Joshua and Caleb. The Bible records that these 10 people that came back with a bad report wanted to kill Moses and Aaron. In fact, they stayed up all night crying and complaining. "How come you brought us this far?" And because of that, Joshua and Caleb were honored for their courage. They were the only 2 that entered the promised land who were 20 and older. An amazing story of boldness. You know, take David and Goliath. You know, most of us know this story from being kids if you're a Christian. You know, David either was the guy that he was crazy, he was nuts, or he had, you know, the boldest kind of courage that anybody had in the Bible. The Bible describes David as a boy at this time. Saul said, "You can wear my armor, but you can't even fit into it. You're just a boy." David says, "I don't need those anyways." So when he comes to Goliath one day as a giant approached him, in fact, backing up a minute, Goliath would come out, the Bible says, for 40 days and 40 nights before David got here. And each morning and each evening he came out and he taunted the army and he ridiculed God. David came along. His dad told him to bring sandwiches to his brothers who were fighting in the army. And when David saw Goliath ridiculing God, he said, "Who is this guy? I'll take him on." He imagined the courage. He was either out of his mind, nuts, or had lots of bravado. And this is what David said. He said, "I will come at you in the name of the Lord Almighty, and he will deliver you into my hands." That's bold. Folks, what can we learn about courage? And you know, we don't want to discount the concerns that we have, especially during this times, but should we be in fear? Here's something that we should be learning. Number 1, be strong and courageous, for the Lord is with you. I love that passage in Joshua. Number 2, we can do all things through Christ who gives us strength. You know, in the words of the great philosopher Michael Orr, who starred in The Blind Side, he said this about courage. Courage is a hard thing to figure. It's a tricky thing. Any fool can have courage, but courage with honor, that's pretty good stuff. I like that quote. Are you scared today? Maybe living in fear? Maybe you have legitimate reasons for it. You've lost things and things are not in control. They're out of your control. I understand that. But what I want to tell you folks is God is right there by your side. He's not going to leave you ever or forsake you ever. And He'll be with you, Christian. And He'll fight your battles. Secondly, choose to be bold in your conviction. You have the truth. Be bold in your conviction, but do it with gentleness and respect. Thank you so much for joining us and as a Backyard Baptist today in the backyard. And just have a great day today. Thanks for watching.